Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Dr. Matt from Pinnacle Chiropractic. And in today's video, we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of an educational video, I'm going to share my story of how I became a pediatric chiropractor and specifically how Pinnacle Chiropractic became a pediatric and prenatal chiropractic office. So, for those of you that don't know, I graduated chiropractic school in 2014 from Palmer College, which is in Davenport, Iowa. And at that time, I had grown up in the Midwest my whole life in Illinois and lived in Illinois and Iowa, and decided that I wanted to move to Florida to start my chiropractic practice. And so at this time, I didn't have a wife or kids or anything like that. I was single, starting school or just ending school, and was wanting to kind of just start my own thing in Florida. I had always vacationed to Florida and the Sarasota area since I was a young boy, and knew when I was younger that I was going to eventually move to the Sarasota, Florida area. And so right when I graduated chiropractic school in about April of 2014, I moved to Sarasota to start my practice. But when I was starting my practice, I actually was starting a different type of practice within chiropractic called upper cervical chiropractic. This was a specific technique that specialized in the upper neck area here around the brainstem area, and saw a lot of chronic complex cases like trigeminal neuralgia, chronic migraines, things like that. And so I did that for probably my first 2 to 3 years of practice. And so I was going through practice and was 2 to 3 years in and was just feeling unfulfilled and kind of burnout. I knew that I needed to make a change and a pivot from the current way that I was practicing. It just wasn't filling me up, and it wasn't the population that I wanted to see. And so around the same time, I was married. I was just having my daughter, and so I was getting more exposed to kids. My wife and we would volunteer in the children's ministry at our church, and so I was getting exposed to more kids and realizing kids are pretty fun, actually. And so around this same time, one of my friends from chiropractic school introduced me to our mentor that we train with, Dr. Tony Ebel with PX, and I started to dive into some of the training, so learning about pediatric chiropractic care. So to really give you a background, in chiropractic school, we take like one class in pediatrics, so we're not really trained in the core curriculum to take care of kids. So a lot of that is extracurricular, or extra time outside of our normal curriculum or normal education to learn about the pediatric world. So I started learning more about the pediatric chiropractic care, and using the insight scans that we use in our office. I didn't have any of that equipment yet, so I was diving in and learning as much as I could through that process. And so some of the parents that I was taking care of, I asked them to bring in their kids, and I could start seeing their kids for practice. Essentially, I was seeing my nieces and my nephews, my daughter, getting as much practice as I could hands-on. And then when I felt confident enough, I started to actually market and change all of the marketing for Pinnacle to pediatrics. And so this is when I started doing perfect storm workshops, specific workshops for ADHD, sensory processing disorder, autism, things like that. And so I started having these workshops, and every workshop I would get a handful of people to come in, and a lot of them would start care. And so one of the biggest kind of aha moments was the story of Avely. So Avely came in through one of those workshops. She was around the age of 6 or 7, I believe, around kindergarten age at that time, and she was coming in with a lot of severe sensory struggles. So she wasn't able to tolerate loud noises, like the automatic hand dryers and flushing toilets, and public restrooms would set her off. It would be too loud, too much stimulation. She wasn't able to go to crowded places. The grocery store was difficult. She would run off. or wouldn't have any first time listening. And then their bedtime routines and morning routines were very difficult to get her to get out of the house in the mornings and then get to bed at night. And so it was sensory processing was really wreaking havoc on her life, and as well as their family dynamic as well. And then about a month into care, we started to see some amazing changes with Avery. So her mom let me know that she was doing amazing. She was having better first time listening. Their evenings were better. Things were just going smoother at home. And she wasn't having the huge meltdowns or explosion of emotions anymore. And so a couple months into care, they actually went off on a family vacation to Orlando for the first time ever with Avery, because she wasn't able to handle those type of environments, and she was able to handle it this time. She went through it very smoothly, and they were able to have a great time as a family outside of their normal environment and away for a little mini vacation. And so this was really the case for me that lit the light bulb and my passion for pediatrics. That really was the defining moment for Pinnacle to go all in on the pediatrics and prenatal side of care. And that was close to 6-7 years ago now, that Avery came through the office, and it's amazing to see her grow up and thrive, and see so many other kids' lives impacted by the power of nervous system based chiropractic, specifically pediatric chiropractic care. So that's a little bit about my story, how I got into pediatrics, and how Pinnacle morphed into a pediatric chiropractic practice and what it is today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this story. We'll talk to you guys on the next video. As always, I'm Dr. Matt, and be well.